Go for it.
All right. So this one was an article that was written. The headline is Fireman suffers only a broken leg after a 35-meter fall. Oh my gosh. That's like 70 something feet.
It was
That's
actually a
a
bit further than 35 meters, actually. It was 35 meters vertical and then an additional 10 on a 60-degree slope.
oh
So,
my God.
yeah.
All right. So let's say it's you know what? Let's go around numbers, say 50. It's about 150 feet that he fell. Oh,
Yeah.
good night. All right, so the article says a firefighter sustained leg and head injuries after he fell down a 35-meter cliff in an attempt to put out a
Felt fire.
veiled
So,
fire.
felt
Ooh, I
fire.
don't
Yeah.
know what
So, the
that is.
bushfire. Bushfire.
Oh, okay, nice. Oh, learned
Yeah.
something new today. So put out a veiled fire in Hillcrest yesterday morning. So, all right, you guys are out. So you're a firefighter as well, or
No,
you've been through
no.
all that? Okay.
So, we're only specialized rescue, only rope rescue. So, in this case, the fire department had been out all night dealing with a bushfire that was coming up these cliffs, and there's houses on the top. So
Okay.
they were holding back the fire line from the properties during the night. And in the early hours of the morning, this firefighter misstepped and disappeared off the edge of the cliff
Oh my God.
whilst fighting whilst trying to contain the blaze. So yeah, he disappeared into the bottom which was on fire at the time, so it was burning. And how he never died is just another story. I don't even know. He broke his femur. His helmet was actually split. We found pieces of his helmet, so he broke his helmet. The firefighting helmet actually broke into pieces. There was a
Jeez, oh
portion.
man.
Yeah, there was a portion that we found, and there was portions that were melted, just melted blobs of plastic, so it had been burnt. His radio had come out of his pocket, and we found that as a molten mess in the area. He had the presence of mind to drag himself through the fire line in his bunker gear onto a rock. It was quite a big rock in the area with a fallen tree across the top of it. And he took his bunker gear belt and wrapped it around the tree and tied himself to it. And he stayed there for nearly 3 hours before we got to him. And he did that when we got to him and we spoke to him. He did that because he was worried that he was going to pass out from the pain and fall off the rock into the burning, the undergrowth that was burning around the rock. So when we got in there, the whole area had actually been burnt out around him, and yeah, it was mad. So I mean, and that was 4 a.m. I think it was. He fell at about 4 a.m. My phone rang at 10 to 5 in the morning. So the fire officer on that scene raised the alarm with fire command. They realized that they actually didn't have the capacity to do it. So somebody else in the fire department got hold of us and said, listen, we have a firefighter down. You guys are the only guys who've got the rope access equipment and that to get in there. We need you. So we're like, okay, cool. They're like, we'll send the heavy rescue rig. So we're like, okay, awesome. The heavy rescue rig's got a monster big crane on it. And we figured that's brilliant. If we can get that thing in there, we got there. The heavy rescue rig couldn't even get close. I mean, it could get to like the end of the road and there was still like, I don't know, 700 to 800 meter walk. So there was no ways that thing was even going to be any use to us, but it was there, looked cool. And yeah, so we arrived, I think I arrived on scene at about 20 past 5 or so. And the place is just burning, like proper burning. And we get his instructions of like, okay, so how do we find the cliff face? Where are we going? One of our guys is already down there on the cliff. He's established a point of entry. He comes back on the radio and he's like, right, guys, cruise down we had to go through somebody's property. He's like, cruise down to the end of their yard. He's like, climb through the fence at the end. But the fence it's an electric fence. He's like, yeah, just do it quickly. It'll whack you once or twice, but just do it quickly. Like, so a couple of us got thumped by an electric fence climbing through.
Oh my God, dude. What the heck?
And he's like, okay, so follow the fence to the end of the fence line. And then at the end of the fence line, sort of take about a 25, 30 degree veer to your left. And there's a tree stump. At the tree stump, just go straight down the hill and you'll find us. So we bugger off, like, hey, we like take this veer off and walking around the bush for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. Get on the radio and you're like, but what? We can't find this tree stump. Tree stump had burnt. It was no longer there. It had burnt out in the time that he had gone past to the time we had arrived. The tree stump had burnt to nothing. So eventually they sent a firefighter up to find us, took us down. We had to cross through a flame front. They were burning kind of like that. So we had to zigzag through a burning flame front.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was insane. It was just hot.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole time we were like, we're going to be dealing with ropes that are flammable. Like, this stuff can melt, and we had to then find trees that hadn't been burnt or that were cool enough to put slings around and stuff, that they weren't going to actually combust our anchor systems, and make sure that the firefighters were on top of keeping the flames away from where we were working. And yeah, so then I abseiled down into there with a paramedic. I actually went before the paramedic so that we could establish that the ground was safe below before he could go down if I needed to put any anchor systems or anything in. We were down on crew that morning, so there was only, I think at that stage, there was only 5 of us on the scene. So we didn't have as many hands as we would normally have to run it. So I opted to take the Stokes basket, the medical pack, the oxygen tank, and myself all in one go down the mountain. Yeah, that was some crazy additional load on my descending equipment. And it was
loaded
dark
to the max.
I was loaded, man. I was like, take that basket, strap everything into it, attach that basket to my D-ring, and I'm going. And yeah, disappeared off the mountain. Couldn't see the bottom. It was mostly because it was still smoky and stuff. Just buggered down till I found the bottom, and then what happened was the basket landed, and I landed like sort of over the basket.
Okay.
And I sat down into the basket to take myself off the descending equipment. And as I sat down into the basket became a bobsled and started sliding down the bank. That's when I realized that wasn't the bottom. There was still some more to this.
My God.
So yeah, I just went with it, just carried on descending, like just letting out rope, just sliding down the bank until we came to a stop. Stood up, my headlamp caught the reflective of the firefighter. I was like, right, this is where we got to be. And then I was like, right, guys, I'm going to stay on the line at the bottom. So we've got some load on the line. Just follow the line till you get to where I am, and then we'll work from there. And then it was another sort of hour and a bit before sunrise. So we worked on the headlights for just over an hour, dealing with the firefighter, cutting off his bunker gear, cutting off his boots, establishing that he had a broken femur. Thank goodness, not a complex break. Set up RV line, established sort of pain meds. Paramedic issued some pain meds to him, kept him comfortable. Then the guy started getting, obviously once you give the guy morphine, they get the shivers and stuff. Now you got to try and keep him warm. I'm cooking, man. I'm like, this place is on fire, bro, and you shivering. I'm like, yeah. So dealt with that, and then we established that the best way out of this is going to be with the helicopter. We're to take him out in the conventional method of
you're 50 meters down, 150 feet. That's a long way to try to bring somebody up with a couple ropes.
It's not that bad in a mechanical advantage system in an upward haul system.
Okay.
It takes time. which is fine, but the environment wasn't conducive to it.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff was burning. We didn't know how hot different areas were. Now you're going to run ropes through on the ground. You don't know if it's running over hot rocks or anything burning subsoil. So we figured, like, listen, we actually need a helicopter. So the go-to out in South Africa is the military. We don't have civilian operators that are hoist and long line equipped. The police sometimes have the capability, but the military have a tasking to do rescue work as well. So we get hold of joint ops, and we're like, this is a situation. We have a firefighter down. It's not a member of public. So this is a government entity. We have a firefighter down. This is where we are. We need an airframe. And they're like, okay, so our airframe is on deployment right now. So we don't have many airframes. This is not America. We have like 2. So
I love how you just said this is not America. We're in South
like,
Africa, damn it. I don't have a helicopter like I do a mosquito.
Yeah, exactly. we like the Air Force Base 15 Squadron has like 3 or 4 airframes, and they're mostly in cycle. So they've got 2 medium lift helicopters known as the Oryx, which is a Super Puma, and then 2 light helicopters, which is an AW109 Augusta Westland. And those are not really conducive to this kind of rescue. So we needed the Oryx, the medium lift helicopter. It was out in deployment. Their second one was down for maintenance. So we were like, okay, now what happens? They're like, well, we'll redirect from deployment, but it's going to take some time. We're like, okay, fine. Some time turned into 3 hours. They had to divert this machine from up north, bring it back in, refuel it, change the crew, bring it back, get it back to us, get it out to us. Eventually, we hoist this firefighter up. He's been down there for 5 and a bit hours now. We've been down there for 4 and a bit hours. Get him out, get him into the machine, get him off to hospital. And then we all look at each other and we're like, oh shit, we've got to climb back up this cliff face. So I can't even remember how I was shattered. I was absolutely wrecked. Then I still went to work after that, and I did half a day's worth of work. You know, like, I think I cruised into the office at I think midday, and I remember the boss looking at me and was like, "Where have you been?" Like, down a cliff face, man. I was like,
I was saving somebody, man.
That was an incredible rescue. Actually, that was pretty decent. Yeah, we went on to being nominated for a bravery award for Centrum Guardians for that rescue.
So I actually have that up as well, which is super cool because it actually recognized a list of people here. Like everybody got listed. So the volunteer rescue technicians from the Rescue Tech High Rescue Unit, ER24, and firefighters from Pinetown,
Gillets,
got it, and Hammersdale Fire Station. That's a lot of people. That's awesome. So
So we pulled 3 different fire stations in to try and control the blaze while we were working. So and then it was ourselves as the specialized rescue unit, Rescue Tech. ER24 was the paramedic service that we pulled in. Eventually SAP's search and rescue arrived as well, and then obviously the South African National Defence Forces 15 Squadron.
That's awesome. Now, what is the Centrum Guardian? Like, it's you and I were talking a little bit about it, but
so Centrum is a multivitamin company that does, well, they branded their vitamins as, you know, high energy for that boost, you know, the 25-hour day thing. And they used to run this program called the Centrum Guardians, where they every year would give an award out, a Guardian Award, to somebody or a group that did something out of the ordinary. So there would be a bunch of nominations, and you'd all go, and then there would be this voting process and what have you, and you'd get it. So we were the runner-up that year. We didn't win it, but we were nominated in 2012 for bravery based on that firefighter rescue.
Wow, You know what? Even if you nominated for something like that, I mean, you guys went way above and beyond. So, and with the amount of resources to go in and get the one man down, and it's one of your own. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about it. Man, well done to you and everybody involved. Holy cow. That's insane. Dude tied himself to a damn tree so he didn't fall in case he passed out. I love it. Smart
I mean,
thinking.
yeah, thankfully he did that because I actually didn't even know.
Jeez, oh man.